Hello, very good evening and welcome along to the live lounge here in Portsmouth as Women's Week at the Modus Super Series continues. We're at the halfway point of the action now and Group B is about to get underway this evening. We've got 5 of the finest female Aerosmiths in action and we are going to have some real darting entertainment. And we're going to be watching all of the action this evening in the company of Scotty Dog Mitchell, the 2015 Lakeside champion, and this should be good fun, shouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had a good session this afternoon, but tonight I'm really looking forward to it. I think there's a few that are going to beat one another, and Fallon's there as well. So, yeah, she could run away with it.
As Scott mentioned, this is the second session of the day here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. The afternoon was dominated by Rhiannon O'Sullivan completing the card. And looks as if she's got one step towards Saturday evening's finale. What was it about Rhiannon that stood out for you this afternoon?
Even when she looked in trouble, she wasn't even in trouble. She looked calm and collected. I spoke to her before the session started and she said that, you know, it was getting used to the surroundings and how quiet it was in here. We're not used to playing in positions where it's so quiet and it's her first visit. So she said she felt that it took a couple of days to get sorted and know the atmosphere and how it feels. And yeah, she definitely got it right today.
Well, the Group C action will culminate tomorrow afternoon from 1 o'clock on the Super Series YouTube channel. But to this evening's proceedings then, because Group B is about to get underway. Fallon Sherrock is the star name in action. She was the one that missed out to Bo Greaves. It felt a little bit like a two-horse race for that Group A title, and Fallon was the one that missed out.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a strange one because Fallon had the sort of better head-to-head record coming in as well. She's been the one that's been causing Bo the problem. So, yeah, you know, it's the way it is. Bo's got a couple of days off and now Fallon's got to work her way back to Saturday night if she can get there.
Fallon's so experienced in this format. So how key will the fact that she'll know what reset mentality is like and how key could that be to her success in this group?
Yeah, I totally agree, actually, because Group B is a very difficult one to play in. It's short, it's fast, it's quick fire. You can't afford to lose 2 games in a row in this one. And she kind of has a little bit of street craft here, doesn't she, in the group? So, yeah, that's obviously going to help make her favourite as well, as the fact that she is one of the best lady dart players on the planet does help.
Well, the other player that dropped out of Group A that'll be a part of this Group B mix is Kirsi Viinikainen, the Finn, the only player to have beaten Bo Greaves this week at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. And what we have seen from Kirsi at times is a real good level of performance. Maybe perhaps the one thing that she'll hope for the next couple of days is a little bit more consistency. Yeah,
probably. I mean, she's been around for a long time, so she has the experience. And I don't mean that. She's been, you know, at World Cups and Europe Cups and played in big games. So she will understand how this is, but she won't be rushed. She does her own thing at her own pace and her own time. And that's how she plays. So, yeah, she doesn't do it to get up anybody's nose. That's just how she plays. But in the last couple of years, she really has come to the fore and she's taken some big scalps.
Is it a show that the women's side of the game still needs that growing in other areas, in other territories?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the way forward now for the women's game. We need more. You know, it's been predominantly the English and the Dutch that have produced the better women players over the last sort of 10 or 15 years. But now it's starting to spread, and that's what the women's game needs.
Well, let's have a look then at the tournament bracket. If it is the first time you've joined us this week, Bo Greaves, the winner of Group A on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, respectively. Joining Fallon Kirsi is Vicky Pruim of Sweden, the 2 Lorraines, Hyde and Winstanley. Group C was what we saw earlier on this afternoon. Let's get your take on a few more bits, Scott, because we're going to have a look at the outright betting for this Group B. Now, perhaps not a surprise that Fallon Sherrock goes off a heavy favourite, 1-3 with the odds compilers. But I want to have a chat about Vicky Pruim. She's 10-1 to go on and win this group. She's won a couple of ADC titles this year, beaten some top players to go on and lift those titles. Always prolific on the WDF circuit, and a player that's been around for many years. Maybe not got the big title that maybe her successors deserved.
No, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Again, she's another one that's very experienced, been around, understands the big situation, and slightly overlooked at times, I think, for the standard that she plays. But like you say, they need that consistency. But at 10-1, that is not a bad shout, I'd say.
It's 18 plus, begambleaware.org if you can have a flutter on the Super Series team. So let's get into our first match of the evening session then, shall we? It sees Vicky Pruim in action. It's actually a battle of Sweden and Finland to kickstart the evening's proceedings because she is going to take on Kirsi Viinikainen. And earlier on this evening, I caught up with Vicky to get her assessment ahead of the next couple of days. Vicky, great to see you here at the Modus Super Series. How much are you looking forward to the next couple of days?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Something new, something I haven't never done before, so I'm excited.
This year's been a very good year for yourself. You've won a few times on the ADC circuit, so you do well on the WDF system. So you must come into this week feeling very confident about yourself.
Yeah, I've been playing all right the last couple of months, and I'm feeling good. So we'll see how it goes.
You're someone who's been involved in the game for a long while now. Seen you play at Lakeside on numerous occasions, and you play in many big tournaments. But what kind of challenge do you think the Modus Super Series is going to provide?
I think it's a different audience they reach via YouTube and everything. It's a lot of young people are watching now, especially Luke coming on the scene, and it's all gone crazy kind of. I think you're reaching a wider audience now than you ever have before. So I think it's good.
So is it going to feel a little bit different for yourself then playing here over the next couple of days?
I try not to think about it too much, but yeah, of course it's more exposure for ladies darts, which is good because we're not used to it that much.
And so how much could this be a springboard for yourself, Percy, and also for the women's game, having a week this week where you get the opportunity to play plenty of games in front of the stage, in front of the lights, and of course, if you get through to Saturday in front of a crowd too?
Yeah, it's obviously a good opportunity for everybody that's involved in this week, and also to show that ladies darts has gotten better in the last years. The standard is a lot higher than it used to be, so it's a good opportunity for all of us.
And just finally, what's your goals or expectations, Zeke, or are you just going to take it one game at a time?
I'm going to take it one game at a time, try and enjoy it all, and we'll see where we end up.
Well, we wish you all the very best of luck next couple of days, Vicky. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
And Vicky Pruim is going to kickstart her campaign against Kirsi Viinikainen. As I say, it's an all-Scandinavian battle to kickstart the evening's proceedings here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Sweden and Finland going toe-to-toe here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It truly represents the international flavour and the international sense that the Modus Super Series provides. Well, Kirsi, the only player to have beaten Bo Greaves this week at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. But Vicky Pruim, well, the 50-year-old, the Antwerp Lightning World Championship semi-finals all the way back in 2002, has been in the winners' enclosure a couple of times in the ADC Women's Championship Tour, whereas Kirsi Viinikainen, the winner of 15 WDF events in her career, has been making her name
Vicky to
in the Women's Series circuit recently. All of the nail-biting action will be refereed by Owen Binks this evening. And it is Vicky Pruim who is going to throw the first dart in anger. And almost throw the first max of the night, Scott Mitchell.
Yeah, very much so. She's, I think she's Swedish, is Vicky, but residing over here in the UK currently. Like you say, I think she's been undersold a little bit there by the bookies. She's definitely much better than they give credit for. I remember last year she was top of the averages in the county system in the Premier for the ladies for Cheshire.
And that is quite the achievement because there's a lot of very good players and a lot of players that some of which we don't hear about but have got a high quality but don't really travel the circuit that play in the county system. So to be top of that is some achievement.
Yeah, the likes of Maria O'Brien and Rhiannon Sullivan, who we saw this afternoon, Laura Turner, people like those that are regularly still playing county.
45.
And here's Vicky, who has really taken the march on throat, should be said, in this first leg. After herself on 116, first to finish. Viinikainen, though, looking to set up to as close to perfect degree as she possibly can.
66.
She'll be disappointed
Vicky
after that
Reguar, 160.
first treble. She's left herself on 110 nonetheless, but Pruim looking to kickstart the evening with a ton topper. It's going to be a dart at tops.
96.
Or what would have been a 116
Reguar,
out.
110.
Viinikainen has found a couple of ton plus checkouts this week to break Pruim's throw in leg one. She needed to find another one, but that straight into the single five means that Vicky is going to come back for free in hand at double 10
40.
to take out this
Vicky
opening
Reguar,
leg.
20.
Up for double 5.
Game shot
Here
on
it
the first
goes.
leg. Vicky
17
Pruim.
darter to kickstart for Vicky Pruim. She's up a leg to nil.
Second leg,
I
it's
mentioned
Kirsi to
that
throw first.
Vicky's
Game
won
on.
a couple of events on that ADC Women's Championship Tour. She won the second event where she got the better of Eleanor Cairns, a player who we've seen here at the Live Lounge at the Championship Tour Finals in 2023 when it was held
85.
here by 5 legs to 4. She then subsequently lose event 3's final to Angela Kirkwood in a last leg decider before then going on to claim victory at the weekend against a player that we
59.
saw this afternoon at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth against Natalie Gilbert in the final of event 7 by 5 legs to 3. The top 8 players, incidentally, from that Women's Championship Tour Order of Merit will be here in November or around that time for the
45.
finals of the Women's Championship Tour. Vicky Pruim tops that Order of Merit from Fallon Sherrock in second. Other players we've seen this week. Tita Hedman also in the provisional
41.
top 8, as is Lorraine Hyde, who we're going to watch later on this evening. She's going to be in action next against Fallon Sherrock. Halfway through that tour, the final 8 events taking place in Aylesbury later on in the summer. The top 8 following that will be here in the
45.
autumn. That's also the same for the men. And the ADC providing more pathways for players to play in front of the cameras.
Yeah, it sure is. And the carrot to be dangled is to come here to the Live Lounge and have the Super Series experience. These two would have known each other from Scandinavian
97.
tournaments back in the day. Both have been around a little while.
55.
And I'm sure they would have played each other back in those days.
Kirsi seems like one of those players that you kind of know in terms of level what you're going to get from her. Something just underneath the 80 mark. But it's just so
137.
effective because when it comes to the finishing, she finds a way. Leaving herself on 92 to take out the second leg to make sure it's a hold Athlon at the beginning of this match.
92.
Remember, these matches best of 5, first of 3 in terms of format in this specials week, in keeping with the previous specials week. Double 16 for Viinikainen. So level this
Game
match
shot on
up
the
at one
second
apiece.
leg.
It's been a
Kirsi
tidy
Viinikainen.
encounter so far. Both legs won in 6 visits. Level we are.
Third leg, it's
One apiece
Vicky to
between
throw
Pruim and
first. Game
Viinikainen.
on.
Yeah, nicely done indeed. Showing she's not frightened of a situation.
47.
She'll hit it head on. A good hold to throw there from Kirsi, indeed.
$137.
Just beginning to up the gears here a little bit, Kirsi has put the throw Pruim under severe pressure. And it was Vicky who came out the tracks flying in this particular contest.
134.
But just showing she's got that bit of staying power.
$60. $100.
As you mentioned, Vicky's been around this game for a long time. She, in that same generation, isn't she, as Trina Gulliver, who were part of that real kickstart of the Women's World Championship at the
81.
turn of the century at the beginning of the noughties. Semi-finalist in 2002. And back in then times, there's only 4 players who played in the main event. They had to qualify through floor tours to even get the opportunity to play on the main stage at the Lakeside.
Yeah, absolutely. And just doing a little flip back on Kirsi, and she actually lost out in the World Cup women's singles semi-final to Dieter Hedman 6-5.
Game shot in the third leg.
Once again,
Vicky Pruim.
Vicky throwing her pedigree here, and why we feel
Fourth leg, it's Kirsi.
she was a little underrated
Game
by
on.
the bookies, and that's a tidy 14 dart leg. The clinical 80 finish.
Let's have it right, Scott. This is a real good quality contest. 88.5 the average for
55.
Vicky, 86.3 for Kirsi. She's just gone down a little bit as a result of that visit. You know what happens as soon as I mention averages,
45.
no one hits anything.
Yeah, best to steer clear of that, I think.
Shall I shut up?
No, don't please a nation. Why would you do that?
So you're not going to give me any hush money then, Scott?
I don't think there's enough in this world to keep you quiet.
No, that'd be somebody's trump card, wouldn't
60.
it?
Indeed.
Well, this fourth leg, a bit of an even kilter after a couple of visits.
140.
They're just following each other, aren't they, Scott? Big scores followed by big score, but the other way round, a poor score's being followed by a poor score.
And the way that they're playing it is telling me that they've played a lot of games against one another, I should imagine. They're playing like it's a regular occurrence, aren't they? Obviously not lately, it hasn't been, but...
$140.
Viinikainen has left herself on 85 after 12. It looks like this first contest of the evening session is going to go all the way to a last leg decider. Pruim will be disappointed, particularly after the 14 darter she mustered in the previous. They could be followed by one of Kirsi's own, but she needed to find the treble 15 with the first dart to give herself a couple at tops. 10 scored there, so 75 left. Treble 17, double 12 you'd sense to be the option with Vicky all the way back on 317. 66 for May. So May opt to go around for that treble 10 again.
49.
Leave herself on double 18 upon her return, and Pruim can only apply pressure with a max.
99. Kirsi required 36.
Yeah, once again, Kirsi showing that she's quite happy to hold her own throw. In 36 incoming, and that's once again a 16 dart leg.
Fifth and final leg, it's Vicky
2-2
to go first. Game on.
And now it's who can hold themselves together on this fifth and final leg. Well, it looks to be Vicky with a super 180 at the right time. It's all about time in this game, and that was the right time to do it.
Well, you mentioned that both players are doing it on the throw, but Kirsi needs to find a break, and that now looks increasingly unlikely with Pruim kicking off max and a couple of strays
40.
from the fin. But Pruim is brewing. Hang on a minute.
180.
I like the little raised eyebrows towards the camera there. Super stuff.
Well, Fallon Sherrock treated us to the first from a female player in front of the cameras here at the Live Lounge back in August last year.
100.
Can Vicky
required
Pruim
141.
etch her name into darting folklore? No is the answer.
$45.
Yeah, she has a absolute shake of the head there because she's disappointed with that first dart, but where it went and how it went, you could tell she was certainly 9 darter in her head and all over her mind. Still shaking her head
41.
behind the
Vicky
board.
require 96.
Well, the good news is she's got a sizable lead. Just to calm herself down a little bit for the excitement of going for the night.
36.
Because how many players do we see have that adrenaline rush and then it go wrong from there? But the big lead should help her. She's going to come back for 60 for the match to take out the opening game of the evening session. It's been a delightful start to the night's proceedings, and maybe Kirsi's last visit of the match could well be a max. Could well be scoreboard pressure for Pruim.
20.
Could well be scoreboard
Kirsi
pressure.
require
Be some way to finish it
140.
off.
It would indeed.
But it's not to be, and so Pruim's going to come back. 3 more in her hand at
85.
tops.
Vicky require
So in what's been a real good start to the evening session here in Portsmouth,
Game
it's victory
shot
for
of the
Vicky
match.
to kickstart the night's
Vicky
proceedings. Getting the better of Kirsi Viinikainen by 3-2. A real good quality contest. Pruim with a 14 darter in there, almost threatening the 9 in the deciding leg. It is the Swede that wins by 3-2 in the opening match of the night session. Coming up after the break, we're going to watch Lorraine, Hyde and Fallon Sherrock go toe-to-toe on the hockey. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break we saw Vicky Pruim get the better of Kirsi Viinikainen by 3-2. Good contest that. Vicky went 6 into the 9 in the last leg decider. Had a 14 darter in there as well. But next up for us it is Fallon Sherrock and Lorraine Hyde on the Super Series stage. We saw Fallon in Group A action on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday respectively, coming second to GREAVES in the end. Up against Lorraine Hyde, a player who we see have success in the women's series over the last few years. Has been a regular on the Lakeside stage at the WDF World Championships, and an opportunity for her to shot her stuff on the Super Series stage. Winner of 2 titles in that particular system. The 34-year-old from Inveraray in Scotland, nicknamed Hyde. Hyde be hoping to have the high on Saturday night and go on and pick up the trophy up against Fallon Sherrock,
First leg, it's
which
Lorraine
her career
to throw first.
bestows in
Game
front
on.
of her. Former world match play champion, former world trophy champion, former world finalist.
100.
But Lorraine, a player who's been around the circuit for a long time and a player that is very well respected and well thought of. One of those players you don't want to draw out.
180.
Well, that's out of the top draw to kickstart for Fallon.
Yeah, and when the first start
60.
went in there, she does tend to follow with the next two, does Fallon.
$97.
I just wonder whether that first game is just set ourselves up for what's to follow, because we do see it sometimes where a really good first game in a group, particularly a Group B where it's a more truncated
41.
format. It just gives a little bit of energy, feeds a bit of a buzz in the practice room, and you tend to see games really follow that same kind of pattern.
Yeah, very much so.
100. $85. Fallon in record 124.
Well, Sherrock. We're going to kickstart a ton topper. Double 8 for
Game
1, 2, 4.
shot on the
Well, that's
first
some
leg.
way to start for Fallon Sherrock.
Sherrock.
A 1, 2, 4, a 12 dart leg. Sherrock breaks the throw.
Second leg,
She's
it's
up and running
Fallon
for
to
the
throw
evening.
first. Game on.
Yeah, superstar and breaker throw for Fallon Sherrock.
90.
I first met this young lady. She played my daughter actually in the Women's World Youth Singles up at Hull.
43.
They played each other in the last 32, I think, and Fallon won. And I thought, wow, this young lady is some talent.
123.
And she's gone on to prove that to be the case. Sister Felicia plays as well.
100.
She's playing her darts for London at the moment in the county system. And once again, once you see that first dart, you just know it. It just sits right. Away we go. She really is setting about this game and in a hurry.
Well, Scott, I've just had a look up the stats
100.
screen.
Fallon
Fallon
McGuire,
Sherrock's currently averaging
108.
127.71. She was on for back-to-back 12s. Well, she is still on for back-to-back 12s. Because the 12 leads are on 96, treble 20, double 18. Not to be this time. But if you thought there
52.
was any kind of hangover from the disappointment of Group A, well, think again, because Fallon Sherrock's come out to set her stall out, set out a statement to the field.
60. Fallon in record 56. Game shot in the second leg.
Missed the big
Fallon
number,
Sherrock.
but it didn't affect her in any way, shape or
Third leg,
form.
it's Lorraine to throw first. Game on.
She looks focused. There's the Queen of the Palace, 2-0 up, averaging 111.33. A leg away from the
39.
victory post, and Lorraine Hyde has got it all to do from here. I suppose if there is a saving grace for the Scots, the fact that she only has to break Fallon once, but in the type of form that Sherrock's in
46.
right here, right now, it is a big mountain to climb.
$30. $60. $98.
Just get the sense a little bit that Lorraine has just been kind of hit too hard by the scoring power of Sherrock. That first dart against Scott.
140.
In fact, yeah, absolutely. Easier to hit another 180 there than the deflection into the 140. When you're playing a player
100.
like Fallon, you have to concentrate on your own game. You can't really take in what she's doing, and you've got to get on and try and do your own thing. But that's easier said than done. It's like playing
95.
MVG or, you know, one of the big names. It's just so difficult to do. Easier said when watching.
Do you almost feel like that anything you do is just going to be bettered?
60. Fallon,
Yeah,
you're
at
back
times, yeah,
160.
at times. It's difficult. You've got to get your head down and try and weather the storm. But with Sherrock, the storm keeps coming.
Game
And it
shot
kept coming
and
indeed.
events.
A 160 to
Fallon
finish off
Sherrock.
that match for Fallon Sherrock. She wins our second match of the night, 3-0 with 107.36 average. Not a lot Lorraine Hyde could do about that. Not a lot many of us can do about that with 107.36. 3 out of 3, 100% on the doubles. We head into a short break and we'll return with Lorraine Winstanley versus Vicky Pruim.
Well, have you ever wondered how well Fallon Sherrock could
Wednesday.
play with Bo Greaves as darts? How will she fare?
23. There we go. This is why. No! Game on. Right,
Look at the swagger with the golden girl.
Here we go.
Chops and chains. This will feel very
140.
alien.
And look at the difference. No big ask.
180!
Suppose it's the age-old question, what would Fallon Sherrock do with Bo Greaves' darts and vice versa? I'm not sure the rest of the field would be too happy with that particular experiment, but you can see what happened when the players of Group A swapped darts, as available now on the Super Series YouTube channel, and Do subscribe to that for that and plenty of other bonus content. And if you do subscribe to the Super Series YouTube channel, get in contact with us via the YouTube chat room. Before the break, we saw Fallon and Sherrock get the better of Lorraine Hyde by 3-0 in the space of 5.5 minutes. 107.36 average for the Queen of the Palace. But next up for us, the former World Master, former World number 1, Lorraine Winstanley takes to the stage. The 48-year-old from Buxton, who does a lot of work with academy players coming through via her work with her manufacturer. Up against Vicky Pruim, we've already seen win tonight. Get a better of Kirsi Viinikainen by 3-2. Went 6 into the 9 in the last leg of that particular contest. Had a 14 darter in amongst it as well. These two well accustomed from their forays on the WDF circuit, so they'll know each other's game inside and out.
First leg, it's Lorraine to throw first.
To the hockey we go.
Game on.
Lorraine with the darts in our third match of the evening session. Lorraine, a player who's had a glistening career. As I mentioned, World Masters champion, World finalist, former World number
36.
1. Quite the career, it's fair to say.
Yeah, sure is. Lined up many times alongside her
46.
in the red and white of England. Absolutely passionate about playing in that shirt every time she wore it.
79.
Doing some good work with youth academies up and down the country as well.
96.
As a go-to person.
Yeah, she was part of the running of the Elite One program, which is a program which is won by a darts manufacturer, which nurses through some young talents. Luke Little actually came through that particular program himself. We've seen other players in the past come
100.
through that particular system, likes of Jared Cole and John Brown has come through that particular program himself. Jack
26.
Vincent, to name a few.
Yeah, it is to name a few because you can't name them all because there are so many. If you look across Pro Tours and Challenge Tours, Development Tours, all
74.
managed to get a good start in their darting life through these academies that are now cropping up all over the place. Sometimes you're finding more than one academy in towns and cities now because of what's known as the Luke Littler effect.
Great second dart for Vicky. Double 16.
69.
Doesn't quite go, but Lorraine is a long way back. Well, you mentioned the work that Lorraine does with those academies. I remember when Glenn Durrant was here a few weeks ago. He's part of the same manufacturing stable as Lorraine.
89.
When he was here, they had an academy event in Southampton, which is about a 40-minute drive from where we are, as Vicky bursts a score and opens up the door for Lorraine. 164 isn't going to go. Pruim back for double 8, but Winstanley looking to apply some pressure.
81.
She left herself on a 2-darter, but Pruim still very much in the box seat in this first leg. Pins the double 8 to break the throw and lead 1-0. But I was mentioning Glenn Durrant was at that academy program, and there was the best part of 50 young players looking to apply their trade, getting some coaching and tuition from himself and Lorraine, who plays very much a mentorship role to a lot of young players. To a certain extent, you could say that she's kind of put herself secondary to the work that a lot of young players are doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm involved with the Andover Darts Academy, which has been around for an awful long time, and Lorraine has been helping them out as well. Sadly, since losing my tour card, I'm probably busier now than ever before, and I just don't get the time to spend there that I'd like to. But I've made a couple of visits up there, and it's just great to see so many kids, both boys and girls, just so into the darts.
83.
They do make some of us top players look amateurs because they are into it far more than we are. It's just super to watch.
Can't beat that infectious enthusiasm, can you, of youth?
43.
No, exactly right. It's great to see as well. Don't have to be on games machines. You can be making your own fun, playing darts, playing your own
140.
game.
Well, Pruim leaving herself on a finish. Lorraine struggling out of the traps a little bit.
43.
Here,
Vicky
you
require
expect to
158.
improve as the evening goes along. Pruim 158 to take out leg 2 of the evening. Not to beat, but that's a good last dart, particularly the way that first treble sat, but first dart, sorry, sat below the treble bed.
Yeah, that's the dart she was looking for with the second dart, but it just caught the wrong side of the dart that was already there. That first dart, like you say, caused the problem, but
68.
managed
Vicky
to
requires 73.
get it there to the right-hand side of that. But it's 73 then coming in. It's 88 now. Can't get any closer, but hit it.
57.
Again, wrong side of the barrel, but she's safe there. Lorraine back on 227.
Pruim's going to come back for double 8 to
60.
take a 2-0
Vicky
lead in this
requires
match
60.
to move herself a leg away for the victory post. And kind of similar to the last leg, Pruim's left herself on the double on the right, and Winstanley could only
8.
leave herself on something like a 167.
167.
Vicky must be thinking that she's been able to do things in her own time,
97.
but now
Vicky
things
require
get
8.
a little bit more necessary.
Game shot on the second leg.
Sometimes a player
Vicky
needs
Pruim.
that, though. Sometimes a player needs that. Sometimes you can have a little bit too much time.
Third leg, it's Lorraine to
If you
throw
look over
first.
your shoulder and think,
Game.
oh, I've got time here, generally, it will take you time. You can't do that. I tend to not look. I know they're way back. I'll just get on with the job, is what you've got to try to do.
83.
And that's exactly what Vicky did on that occasion.
Well, let's have a look at the players then from a side-on
26.
angle. We're going to have a look at the actions of the pair. Now, Lorraine is a player that we do see a lot of backlift form. We see a big, almost like she flicks the darts out of her hand, but just feels like
81.
maybe a little bit more of a flick than what we've usually seen from her in the past.
Yeah, possibly. The action is sort of
97.
very similar to what I've always seen her throw. She stands just off centre, kind of throws back across the board a little. Maybe that could be to do with, dominant eyes come into question
63.
when that happens. Maybe it's that, or just she's comfortable there doing it. She's always done it that way. And Vicky's throw is very much up with the elbow, no movement with the body, and over the top it goes. And
140.
you'd think not a lot to go wrong with that either.
I know this may sound a little bit silly, but with Lorraine, is a lot of it down to the actual aim, where the eye level's at. If it's a little bit off kilter,
100.
it can lead to a couple of stray darts.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, possibly it could be that, she's on her first game as well,
60.
and Vicky's on her second, and sometimes you can go to the board thinking you're at a slight disadvantage because you haven't had a game yet. That can happen in this Group B with only 5 players. Somebody has to play a little bit blind. I know that I did it
81.
on my first visit in Group B, and yeah, I felt a slight disadvantage when I went to the board because my opposition had already had a game. So can be that you try a little bit too hard, maybe.
Well, it's been a much improved leg from Winstanley here, leaving herself 93 to bring it back to 2-1. First tour finish in this leg, importantly. As in the last 2, she was very much chasing, but Pruim now is going to have an
53.
opportunity on the 78 to get the job done. May just be a solitary dart at tops for Pruim to double up her tally. It's 2 for 2 for Vicky Pruim. She gets the better of Lorraine
Vicky
Winstanley by 3 legs to 0. Not quite the rip-pouring heights of game 1, but job done nonetheless for Vicky. For Lorraine Winstanley, a slow start. There was signs towards the latter ends of that game that things were just beginning to click for the former world number 1, but it is victory for Vicky once again. She's 2 from 2. Coming up after the break, we're going to watch Kirsi Viinikainen in action up against Lorraine Hyde. And so to game 4 of our evening session here at the Modus Super Series. Before the break, we saw Vicky Pruim get the better of Lorraine Winstanley by 3 legs still. Next up for us, Kirsi Viinikainen and Lorraine Hyde go toe-to-toe on the stage. Two players that are searching for their first win of the evening. Kirsi losing out 3-2 to Vicky Pruim, whilst Lorraine Hyde lost out 3-0 in match 2 to Fallon Sherrock. So for both players, chance to just give themselves a bit of confidence, get themselves in amongst proceedings. You would say, on the basis of playing their opening match, you'd
to throw first.
favour Kirsi Viinikainen.
Game on.
Yeah, you would, but I think that would be really unfair on Lorraine because, you know, she was part of what was a super average from Fallon, and there's not a lot anybody could have done about that. But here's Kirsi. She starts with a 180. And Lorraine Hyde must be thinking deja vu here.
Here we go again. Almost a case of, why is everybody playing their A game
83.
against me?
Yeah, indeed. The way that Kirsi's dart is set up with that type of flight and shape, it makes your dart very positive to throw. You know, there's no real drag on the throw. Every dart player has what we call a parabolic arc, where as it leaves the hand and goes to the board, the dart cannot fly dead straight like a rocket. It has to have its own arc, and that depends on how hard you throw the dart or push the dart, whichever type of throw that you have. And you get used to that parabolic arc, and you know exactly where to pitch your dart. And with that shaped flight, it's a flatter pitch, so to speak, not such a dome for a parabolic arc, if that makes sense.
121.
So a little bit easier to judge where it's going, I would imagine.
Oh, Kirsi first to finish, got 6-1-2-1 to take out the opening of this encounter. It's been a very good start from the Finn so far, not just in this match, but in terms of the evening session. Averaged 88.5 in that defeat to Vicky Pruim, was 2 out of 3 on a doubles, took out a 92 as well.
85.
Just ran into Vicky Pruim, who did exactly what she needed to do on throw, was very strong with the darts. But it's Kirsi who has that advantage and that luxury in this game. And she's going to have a dart at tots to take out leg 1 in 5 visits. And that's exactly what she's going to do. Another combination for the Finn. Viinikainen draws first blood in this contest.
Second leg, it's Lorraine to throw first.
I wonder what point now, she lost 3-0 in game 1. Does Lorraine think, right, okay, let's just get that first leg on the board. Let's just get up and running in that particular department.
41.
And then go from there. So it doesn't really matter who you are, does it, Scott? Until you get that first leg on the board, you'll never, ever feel truly settled on that stage.
No, that's exactly it. And it's the same with any big stage when you're playing a World Championship or any TV event. You know, you get up there and you want to hit your first treble 20 as quickly as you can and settle yourself down. And then, of course, you want to hit your first double and settle yourself down as quickly as you can. And the longer that goes on, the more difficult it gets. But you have to say that the way that the group has worked out,
125.
I don't think there could have been too many tougher starts for Lorraine Hyde this evening.
Although you could argue there's no such thing as an easy game at the Super Series.
No, indeed.
Although I did hear this afternoon, or I saw on social media at least anyway, that you commentators are going to buddy up for a special.
58.
Oh, are we?
Oh, that was what they were saying on social media. Commentators special. Paul Nicholson said he's in the hat.
Well, if he's in the hat, I'm in the hat. I'd love to do that. It's just what would be going on in the back room. There'd be a lot of talking, wouldn't there?
100.
Just to confirm, myself and Chris Murphy have ruled ourselves out of playing in that competition because there's only so much transmission time we've got.
46.
You'd be all right if you were playing one of us.
Kirsi require 96.
Oh, cheers, Scott.
We'd make sure that you were not up there too long.
Not made to suffer. Well, no suffering here. This is superb for Kirsi.
$61.
Dragged that one. One thing about a dart travelling quickly through the air, there's no forgiveness in it either. If you throw it in the wrong place,
35.
it stays in the wrong place. It's a very positive reaction the way the dart throws, and if you try some different floats when you're at home, see how they fly differently, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Double 9 left. Now down for double 2. That errant dart at double 18 on the back of the 96 always caused her all sorts of problems. But she gets the break of Lorraine Hyde, leads 2-0, and now has the darts for the match.
Game on.
Yeah, she gives nothing away either in her body mannerisms playing. You can't tell whether she's at a 180 or a 26 when she goes backwards and forwards to the board. She gives nothing away. Does Kirsi.
99.
Good performance as well, averaging just under 92. 40% when it comes to the doubles as well. She's played superbly this evening, as I mentioned. Loss of a 88.5 against Vicky Pruim. You're certainly seeing so far 3 players in Vicky, Kirsi and Fallon that have found, if not their A game, something close to their A game this evening. Which means that
40.
both the Lorraines have got work to do, because it could become a case very quickly that the pair could be cut adrift at the bottom of the table.
Indeed. Here we go.
140.
Is that a sign that Lorraine Hyde is starting to settle down? And I think she plays her county darts in Scotland for Ayrshire, I think. I think Scottish legend Anne Kirk used to play for Ayrshire as well.
100.
Yeah, great player she was. Kirsi looking to set up the finish here to take out the 3-0 win. And in Group B, as you know all too well, Scott, wins are great, but wins by a margin, wins by a scoreline. You just never know how crucial leg difference could be in terms of A, getting yourself through, or B, the position of which you get yourself through in, because we should mention that if you finish top of Group B, you will avoid a certain Bo Greaves in the group stage.
Yeah, with being winner of Group A, yeah.
82.
For me, I'm not that clever. I wouldn't be thinking that far ahead, Henry. I've got to be honest. I'll be thinking of my game and trying to get my job done.
Well, Viinikainen's left herself on a ton
54.
to take the match out to
Kirsi require 100.
rubber stamp her 3-0 success. Lorraine, it's just not quite happened so far for her. Well, that sat nicely for Tots, because the first dart just sat down in the board
45.
and then strayed wide with the last dart, meaning that she may have to spurn a dart if she comes back. Treble 20 for the bull. Not to be, and so Viinikainen's going to come back for 55 to take the match out.
49.
And another strong showing from the finish thrower, and she could finish off the job here. She can pin Tots. She's been so good on this target this week. She finds it again there to seal a 3-0 win against Lorraine Hyde. Another good performance, 83.5 the average, just dovetailed towards the end of that encounter. She beats Lorraine Hyde by 3-0, and I don't know what's gone on there. I think Kirsi was just having a little bit of a look as to what was happening to the side of the stage. A 3-0 win against Lorraine Hyde. Next up is Fallon Sherrock up against Lorraine Winstanley. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. Kirsi Viinikainen got her first win of the evening before the break, getting the better of Lorraine Hyde 3-0, 83.5 the average for Kirsi, 3 from 7 on her doubles. Next up for us then, our middle match of the evening session. We've got through to the middle of the session at 11 o'clock, 4 games in the space of an hour. It's flown by this Group B so far this evening. Fallon Sherrock and Lorraine Winstanley will take us to the halfway mark, and we're going to do it in the company of myself, Henry Deacon, in the commentary box with the 2015 World Champion, Scott Mitchell. What a night we've had so far.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic standard, and I don't expect this one to be any different.
Game on.
Not many grey areas. Renaud Beeks is your referee.
96.
And he is the man in charge of proceedings this evening. A 26-year-old from Colchester. One of the best chalkers in the world. Marks on the major PDC stages, as well as refereeing here and also across the exhibition circuit as well, does Owen. One of the world's top officials.
45.
Fallon Sherrock.
134.
Take long to start doing double trouble visits again, did she, in this one? Putting Winstanley right under pressure. from the get-go.
81. Fallon, you require 91.
Oh, Sherrock out of the traps quickly. Kicked off with a 12 darter in her first game. Could kick off with a 12 darter here. But she can't pin the double 16 on this particular occasion.
Well, she looked disappointed that she didn't have a 12 darter as well. And I think
95.
that shows
Required 32.
exactly how Fallon was feeling inside about
Game
that.
shot on the first leg.
Polishes it off in
Fallon
13 darts, which I'm sure she's still happy with.
Second leg it's Lorraine to throw
She'll
first.
take as a start to
Game
this
on.
particular contest. In matter of fact, there's a possibility on Saturday night you can see, well, what I consider a world-class lineup. Bo Greaves, potentially Fallon Sherrock, potentially Vicky Pruim,
36.
potentially Dieter Hedman, potentially Rhiannon O'Sullivan. And I tell you what, that would be quite the Saturday night. If you've not got any plans, you're nearby to the vicinity of Portsmouth, I would recommend coming to.
58.
Head over to www.dartshop.tv to get your tickets. You can scan that QR code as well. Now, for a game between potentially Bo Greaves and Fallon Sherrock, you can pay just a
39.
£2 admission charge to watch. There's not many arenas in World Darts where you can watch them two go toe-to-toe for that kind of remuneration.
100.
Not a chance of seeing them go toe-to-toe for that money. I think it's an absolute bargain, and if you are local, you are not going to see and get that chance. It'll probably cost you more to park
170.
than it will to come here and watch the darts.
It does.
But yeah, what a opportunity to see some of the
57.
top ladies in the world right here on your doorstep if you're local to Portsmouth. I urge you to come on down. The price is right.
81. $140.
Well, Fallon has good memories of playing Lorraine Winstanley. Her first major title, the 2018 BDO World Trophy, she beat Lorraine in the final, 6-3, averaging 94.22. That event taking place at the now closed down Preston Guild Hall. You would have played in that, wouldn't you?
106.
Yeah, I did,
Right,
yeah.
quite
I don't think I
88.
hung around too long, to be honest, if I remember rightly at that one.
If I remember rightly, the attendance there was like one of Matthew Edgar's exhibition. Hardly anybody. Bullseye for Lorraine
shot on the
to get
second
herself
leg.
on the board.
Lorraine
Her first leg
Winstanley.
to her name. Level we are, 1-1.
Third leg it's Fallon to throw first.
Indeed.
Game on.
And a nice bullseye there from the range. She'll be pleased with that one inside. Doesn't really give anything away.
95.
She's just let Fallon know that she's still there.
$45.
18 dart leg as well.
Route to winning that title, Fallon Sherrock. She beat Rhiannon Griffiths in the first round
56.
4-2, beat Maria O'Brien 4-3, and then beat Ros Bulmer, who won through the qualifiers 5-0 in the semi-finals before getting the better of Lorraine in the finale.
100.
That was when Lorraine really was at the peak of her power. She was World Masters champion at that point. Number 1 in the BDO World Rankings then. Got the better of Anastasia in the semi-finals,
83.
Anka Zylstra in the quarters, and Paula Jacqueline in the last 16.
$41.
Here goes Fallon again.
180.
Third 180 of the evening for Fallon.
140. Fallon require 87.
A 2-1 lead. She has got 6 from here. And credit to Lorraine, she's really began to up the levels, but Sherrock is just a class
Game
above.
shot in the third leg. Fallon Sherrock.
15 data, 2-1 in front, averaging 102.07. Came at the tracks of
Well, Lorraine gets Lorraine to
107.36.
throw first. Game on.
In fairness, she has said in the past that this is the perfect session for her, playing in the evening as opposed to in the morning, and it's most certainly paying dividends right here, right now.
Yeah, absolutely is, and she does.
121.
It's nice when you're playing. You prefer to play one session or the other, and you drop into that session. You're kind of happy about it before you even get here, and it puts you in a good frame of mind.
58.
You really do have to get out of the blocks here in Group B, because before you know it, the games have passed you by, particularly if you've played before in one of the longer groups.
24. $81. $41.
Well, the biggest surprise after the first start being placed as high as it was in the
100.
treble was the fact that Sherrock's only come away with a ton.
Yeah, she's been that accurate, hitting those 180s on a pinhead.
42.
On a
180.
pinhead. Averaging 102.65. 3 maximums in this match. 5 all told so far. And she's on the cusp, you said now, of a
95.
3-1 victory
Fallon
to back up the
82.
3-0 win that she accrued against Lorraine Hyde in match 1. Double 16. Superb from
Game
Sherrock.
shot at
A
the
14
match.
data to finish it
Fallon
off.
Sherrock.
And she's followed up that 107 average with one of 103 here. She's making this group look rather simple. That, the tail of the tape, and that makes very good reading for Fallon Sherrock. A 3-1 win against Lorraine Winstanley. Coming up next, Vicky Pruim and Lorraine Hyde. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we are midway through the evening's proceedings here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Myself and Scott Mitchell have been watching every single dart in the culture box. This is what we've seen up to press. So we've reached the halfway point, and so far so good as far as Vicky Pruim and Fallon Sherrock are concerned. 2 wins from 2 for them, and for the 2 Lorraines, they're looking to get on the board. And in the middle of that, Kirsi Viinikaine's played some good stuff this evening, but had to run into Vicky Pruim in that match one. So that's what we've seen this evening. As I say, Scott's been watching all of the action. Let's begin by talking about Fallon Sherrock, because 2 ton plus averages this evening, 2 ton plus checkouts in that first game. She really has set the stall out for everybody else to follow.
Yeah, she really has. And I think you touched on it earlier where you said the winner of Group B then sort of like avoids the winner of Group A, and maybe that's a sight that she set for herself. Rather than just wishing to qualify, she wants to dominate the group and sort of stamp her authority on this week.
The fact that she played so well but didn't get through that Group A, well, that was smarted a little bit, which is maybe why we've seen her come out the gate as quickly as we have seen her this evening.
Do you know what? I just think it's natural for Fallon to do that. I think we know how good she is. We know how she plays, and she just gets on with the job every game. It's not anything that she doesn't try to do. She's not one of those that plans things. She just wins games of darts, and that's the best way to do. Keep it simple and play like she does, and the wins will come along nicely.
Let's talk about Vicky Pruim. Very good start to the evening. 2 wins from 2, and at times we saw some real good stuff from her. Went 6 into the 9. Her scoring power has been almost immaculate. Maybe just a little bit of a tidy up on the doubles.
Yeah, possibly. She's given herself lots of time on the doubles, and I think that's been the concern. She's probably looking over her shoulder and thinking, well, I've got time here. And then as a player, when you generally think like that, you generally need time. So, yeah, maybe she's overthinking it a bit, but like I say, she's still getting through her games, and points on the board and making Saturday night, that's when you want the big game to come out.
Well, let's have a look then at the table, the halfway point of this evening's action. And as you can see, Fallon Sherrock and Vicky Pruim leading the way, 4 points apiece. Kirsi Viinikainen, the other victor, and she's played some consistent stuff herself this evening.
Yeah, she has. She really has. And like I say, she lost that game to Vicky because Vicky had such a storming last leg. It was special to watch. So, but she's doing enough. You're looking at this group now and thinking, is she going to do enough against the bottom 2 to hold her place there in third? But yeah, for me, a debut for her. She's never been here before and acquitted herself well, I'd say.
Well, let's pause for now to talk about this week's action. Look ahead to next week, because Series 8 will get underway on Monday morning from 9:30 on the Super Series YouTube channel. And this is who we've got in action. And what a way to kickstart the series. We have a former Grand Final runner-up in Tom Sykes. We have a 3-time world champion in Martin Adams. Bradley Roos, who we saw in the last Champions Week in action. And that's just Group A, where you got Andy Hamilton, former world finalist later on the week. Justin Smith, very capable player from Wales. And the enigmatic Scot Stephen Johnson in the mix as well. But that Group A, Scott, from top to toe, it just looks difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And it also looks very even for me. It looks very even. And there'll be players there. Somebody's going to have to clamp their authority on that and have a run to get themselves to the top of the group. But yeah, really interesting group, really even group, and going to be one that's very interesting to watch.
The action will get underway 9:30 on Monday morning on the Super Series YouTube channel. See how Series 8 is going to begin. And you can be here at the Live Lounge during Series 8. Tickets are now on sale via www.dartshop.tv to see some of the best players without a tour card going toe-to-toe on this fabled stage. This time last year, Luke Littler was strutting his stuff here, and Scott Mitchell occasionally struts his stuff on that stage as well. If you want to see stars of, well, can I say the past?
Yesteryear,
and the stars of the future, take a look at this.
Every Saturday, we open our doors for our weekly finals night.
For a unique and intimate darts experience.
Meet the Dart Stars and even the team off the telly.
Here at our purpose-built venue in Portsmouth.
Every single Saturday evening.
Tickets can be booked via this QR code.
Or at www.dartshop.tv for a very small booking fee.
Follow us at MSS Darts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.
For all the latest ticketing news.
All you need to do, log on, book, turn up, and the action gets underway from 7:30 p.m.
So what are you waiting for?
Get your tickets to the darts.
We look forward to welcoming you to the Modus Super Series very soon.
And so, into the second half of proceedings we go here at the Modus Super Series here at the Live Lounge. Do join us on a Saturday evening. Hopefully that explainer video will tell you exactly how you can be here on a Saturday evening at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth, the home of the Super Series, where you can see history get made here at the Live Lounge. Those that are in attendance on Saturday evening had a superb time as Andreas Harrison lifted the title amidst the grasp of Cam Crabtree in that particular final. 4-3, Andreas picked the title up. Crabtree with a 1-7-1 setup to leave double four before Harrison did the business. Nailed the 1-2-1 of the bullseye to pick up the £25,000 check and the title that came with it. Saturday, the 31st of August is the date to have in your diary if you want to be at the next Champions Night.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back to that last one on Saturday, Cam really did nothing wrong. I did actually send him a little message to say, you know, Andreas went and won that. You didn't give it away. He went and won it, and he did nothing wrong. And the young man will learn from that. And Andreas, well, you know, he's been doing that every time he comes here to the Super Series, looking super special, never looking out of games, even when he's getting beaten. And that culminated in that series win for him on Saturday night.
60.
Just saying, I tipped Andreas to win it.
Anyway, moving right along.
60.
But one thing I will say about Cam, and it says a lot about the maturity of the young man. And there's not many people I can call young man at my age.
45.
Oh, dear. How does age always come into it when I'm sat next to you? It's not good for me.
See, I could play on the Dev Tour, and you're eligible for the Seniors Tour.
54.
Absolutely. And what a tour that is as well. You smell the deep heat all around the place.
WD-40, isn't it?
Yeah, and a bit of that as well.
Now, this first leg very much at an even kilter. Pruim with the advantage of throw, but it's just let it slip somewhat
80.
up until that last dart. She's going to leave herself first to and out on 1-2-4. What can Hyde do by way of response? Pruim can put herself temporarily to the top of the table on 6 points with
60.
Fallon to
Vicky
play
record
Kirsi Viinikainen next. And perhaps appropriate that them two will then meet in the final game of their sessions in match 9 of our night. The bullseye for Pruim for a 1-2-4 to start.
91.
Quite taken on this particular occasion. And so Hyde, 155. Still looking for that first leg on the board is Lorraine.
97.
Pruim comes back for 33 to get herself on the board in this particular encounter. 8-8.
Game shot on the first leg. Vicky Pruim. Second leg, it's Lorraine to throw first.
Once again, polished at the end of the leg when needed to be from Pruim.
100.
Pruim went 6 into the 9 darter, but ruined her attempt on dart 7.
60.
No one wants to see a 9 darter ruined, do they, Scott?
No, not at all. Ruined, jinxed, call it whatever you want to call
45.
it.
60. 24.
So, good opportunity here for Hyde to get away. She's jumping in.
100.
Nice little ton.
We can tell that incrementally she's getting better as the
60.
evening goes along. Just the way that things feel, the way things are going. And she is favourite now to win this leg. It'll be her first leg on the board this evening.
60.
And she has got time on her side.
Yeah, she looks more relaxed in her throw, but in her previous 2 games, she's had no
60.
chance to relax. You know,
Rating
both
121.
Fallon and Kirsi really sort of got out of the blocks in the first couple, and it's very difficult then to
57.
continue to try and keep up with them. The damage, like you said, is done, and with it being only best of 5, it is very difficult
60.
to
Lorraine requires
make a
64.
comeback.
Well, this is her first start at a double this evening at double 8.
56.
And she's missed
Vicky
2 darts to win her first leg of the
152.
night. And this would hurt. But the 152 isn't going to be checked.
No, it isn't. And
40. Lorraine require 8.
across to the other side of the board and double 4, right on the inside wire.
Game shot on the
Checks
second
out
leg.
double 2 for her
Lorraine
first
Hyde.
leg of the evening, and that should settle her down a little
The
bit.
leg, it's Vicky to throw first.
It's always
Game on.
difficult, particularly when you drop on Fallon first game in the form she was in.
Well, we've mentioned it before, haven't we, in the
60.
respect that until you get that first leg on the stage, you never feel fully settled on it. And now that she has got that first leg, I think we'll see more
60.
from Lorraine Hyde. To a certain extent, one of the first couple of matches, she's on
83.
high to know. She's got nothing to lose.
No, definitely not.
$80.
Thing with Group B, you're looking at
60.
5 wins to sort of guarantee you being through, really, aren't you? 4 can get you through. Sometimes 3 can get you through if the results go in your favour, but with Sherrock
41.
dominating up to now.
Let me give you a little bit of Super Series,
121.
not insider info, but a little bit of Anarakanal info.
Is that about spiders, Anarakanal?
60.
So in Group B, if you get to 10 points and every player's got to win to their name, you are through. 10 points should get you through anyway, but there's a possibility that 4
100.
players could be on 10, for example, and another player be on 0 points. And in Group C, you are guaranteed to make sure of your place through if you can pick up 16
28.
points from that particular
Vicky
group.
77.
So there you go. There's your Anarakanal information.
Thank you very much. Enjoyed that.
Well, let's pretend that you enjoyed it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was great stuff, mate. Love that. More of those, please. Bring them on.
45. Vicky require 40.
Tots of Vicky.
Game shot on the third leg.
That first
Vicky
dart was
Pruim.
used as the perfect guide for dart 2, and she leads now 2-1.
Fourth leg, it's Lorraine to throw first.
Lorraine
Game on.
won't panic here. She knows it's just going with the throw at the moment. But it's always difficult to hold this one. And your opponent only needs 1 to win. That doesn't matter which,
30.
how many it's first 2 when it's first to 6 and you're 5-4 down, even though you've got the throw. Take some character to hold that throw, to take it down the last, and
100.
There is that possibility that
41.
Game 9 could be a game that will see who will complete the card. If Pruim can win this one, she'd be 3 from 3. Fallon's up against Kirsi Viinikainen next.
140.
And Vicky's kind of hoping that Kirsi can do a bit of a favour. And Kirsi is in the type of form that if Fallon decelerates from the ridiculous standard that she's providing so far, it could spring the surprise.
Yeah, I'm more thinking, can Fallon do
95.
4-ton pluses on the trot? That's the way that I'm seeing Fallon this evening. She's very businesslike tonight, getting on with the job.
45.
Well, I can tell you that nobody has gone through an entire session averaging a ton in every game at the Super Series, not even in a Group B.
134.
Pruim leaves herself on double 16 after 12 to see the match through, to seal a 3-1 success to make it 3 wins from 3 to kickstart her evening.
100. Vicky requires 32.
For the match. It's a hat-trick for the Swede. Vicky Pruim picks up her 3rd win of the night, getting the better of Lorraine Hyde by 3 legs to 1. And it means that she is very much in the equation going into the latter half of the session. Pruim 3, Hyde 1. Next up, Viinikainen up against Sherrock.
Probably the worst thing you could have done is spoke to me in the back room.
Oh, you're that guy that lost like the girl kind of thing, and I'm like,
We didn't have time to stop. We barely had time to get a drink. You know, I helped put darts where it is.
A game that defined a generation. Fallon Sherrock against Ted Evans at the 2020 World Championships, and the pair have spoken about that battle with one another for the very first time on the Super Series YouTube channel. That on top of many other goodies. Available if you subscribe now. And Fallon Sherrock's in action in our 7th game of the evening session. She takes on the Finn, Kirsi Viinikainen, the only player to have beaten Bo Greaves this week at the live lounge in Portsmouth, stopping her from having that perfect record in Group A over the first 3 days of competition. But it is Sherrock who herself is looking to preserve perfection here in this Group B. 4 points from 4, 2 wins from 2, and both with 10+ averages. 107.36 to beat Lorraine Hyde 3-0. And then against the other Lorraine, Winstanley, 103.37 average. In matter of fact, Fallon Sherrock has had 7 attempts at a double this evening, and she has hit 6 of those doubles. She's had 2 10+ checkouts here and there. There's not really much not to heap praise on as far as the Queen of the Palace is concerned.
No, indeed, and if Kirsi is going to beat Fallon here, she's going to have to be right on her mark, and you can't make too many mistakes.
Kirsi hasn't played bad this evening, not by the furthest stretch of the imagination. Average 88.5 against Vicky Pruim, 66% on her doubles, then 83.5 in her win against Lorraine Hyde. So we know, and we've known it throughout the course of the week, she's got the level to beat the top players in terms of Fallon and Bo being the big two. But Sherrock just looks locked in, switched on tonight, a completely different beast.
140.
Yeah, the averages are more than suggesting that she's been producing this evening. One of the things I did notice, I haven't noticed it lately, but Fallon did have a spell where she was wearing sort of like a black trainer shoe to play in, and she's gone
60
back to her dolly type shoes, as my daughter would call them. Not my words, that's hers. Maybe she swapped back a while ago, but just one of the things I noticed this evening.
124.
Well, you can see Kirsi wearing black trainers. Now, in terms of the actual rules, in terms of footwear, it's been slightly relaxed over the last few years. You can wear black trainers as long as they've not got a tick or a couple of stripes on it, or at least it's not visible to the eye. As long as they're all plain and black, then you can wear those types of trainers on stage. And, of course, the old traditional type shoes are still very much in the rule book.
138.
Again, sublime from Sherrock, leaving 40 after 12.
Fallon, you require 40.
She's kicked off her games 12 and 13. How about 12, 13, 14? Getting out the gate quickly and putting her opponents under it. Sherrock breaks and leads 1-0.
Second leg, it's Fallon to throw first. Game on.
So that means when she plays Vicky Pruim, she's going to win the first leg in 15 darts. Surely a max.
180.
It's on a string tonight.
Yeah, it really is. That's her 6th 180 of the evening. Just her 3rd match of the evening. And now Kirsi is trying to fight fire with fire.
180.
And does so. That's her 3rd of the evening.
Well, Fallon, the first female player to hit a 9 in front of the cameras here, isn't able to follow up on this occasion. Neither can Kirsi.
.42.
Could you imagine what it would do for the Super Series and for the female game if a player could hit a 9 darter this week?
96.
And I wouldn't back against it at all.
No, nor would I. We say Vicky, 6 perfect darts earlier this evening. And I think when better players play each other, it drives it on, and you take it to a level where you're not used to playing that level.
Bullseye for the 167. Here's a stat for you, Scott. Fallon Sherrock has been involved in one leg all night that wasn't 15 darts or less. It was the only leg this evening that she's lost to Lorraine Winstanley.
That is a stat indeed.
Fallon, you require 43.
To keep that trend going. The old treble 3, double 17 combo. Well, that trend's going to continue, then Kirsi Viinikainen is going to take out the 136.
Kirsi require 136.
Fallon smiling to herself.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's the conventional way to go for 43. I say in jest.
100. Fallon, you requires 16.
That is her worst leg of the night.
Fallon,
the 16 darter. Her average, her worst of the night, 100.2.
The leg it's Kirsi to throw first. Game on.
I say in jest.
Or were you just saying? That's the question. But yeah, absolutely fantastic darts, and that was sort of wasting a dart, having to leave a double from the 17. She's left with one dart in her hand, so she really is right on it this evening.
60.
There's no two ways about that.
It's almost been a case of just get in and get out as soon as you possibly can. Get the wins on the board, put the performances together.
95.
Thank you to everybody there who's watching on the Super Series YouTube channel. We must say the numbers that have been punched in terms of viewership this week has been absolutely fantastic. The game between Bo and Fallon a couple of days ago, when you consider it was 1:15 on a Tuesday afternoon, close to 3,000 people were watching.
Yeah, good numbers indeed.
41.
From Super Series followers. Like I say, they wanted a women's week. It was ideas that were bantered about when it was being asked. And
60.
I think it's great for the women's game, and you can only say here we are on Thursday, and it's been a success.
Absolutely. And here we go. Let's get you guys in the chat room involved. What kind of specials week would you like to see here at the Super Series? Because there is going to be another one at the end of August, the beginning of September, following Series 8's completion. What would you like to see in future specials weeks? We'll put power in your hands.
81.
It's a bit like the theme track to Gladiators, isn't it? Can you feel the power of the chat room fam?
Indeed, if you say so.
83.
No, absolutely. It's feedback's always important, and an idea could be out there. Somebody could have it. And there's there.
130.
On their tongue, and we'd love to hear it,
140.
because it could happen.
Viinikainen to save the match. She has to take out the 140. It's as simple as that. She's not going to. So Sherrock comes back for 70 to complete the 3-0 win. It would mean that she would have picked up 9 legs this evening for the concession of just 1 so far. Tops for the match. And Sherrock is unassailable. That's a hat-trick of wins for the Queen of the Palace. She beats Kirsi Viinikainen by 3 legs to 0. Average of 93-94 in the end for the Queen of the Palace. That's her lowest of the evening by about 7 points. But she is top of the group. She's dominating the group. Coming up after the break, we're going to watch the 2 Lorraines go toe-to-toe on the hockey.
So, welcome back to the Super Series here on Women's Week. And we find ourselves, our last game was Fallon Sherrock making light work of Kirsi Viinikainen, 3-0. And you join us now as our next game is due to start. With the two Lorraines go head to head. Hyde and Winstanley. One from Scotland and one from England. I'm sure they would have met in the past in international duty. It's all about this evening. Both down at the foot of the table, searching for their first win to get some points on the board.
Now, I know nobody cares about my opinion, Scott.
Correct.
However, I'm going to make an opinion right here, right now.
Okay.
Lorraine wins this match.
First leg, it's Lorraine Hyde.
Well done. I think you're right.
Game on.
For once, we agree.
It is Lorraine Hyde with the darts in this particular contest. Both players looking to get their first win on the board for the evening's proceedings.
30.
Instead, we saw an improvement of performance from match 1 to match 2 against Fallon Sherrock. Lorraine Hyde against Vicky Pruim had a couple of openings but lost out 3-1. This is Lorraine Hyde's last game of the evening session. Lorraine Winstanley only midway through the card. She'll play Kirsi Viinikainen in the final match of the evening session. Fallon Sherrock and Vicky Pruim will be playing to see who's going to be the top player in Group B at the end of the first night in the game that follows this one.
60.
She mentioned two players with a great CV. Lorraine Winstanley, of course, former World Masters champion back in 2017. Beat our good friend Corinne Hammond in the final 5-2. And that's probably the two things that Corinne Hammond would have hated more than anything else that I've just done there. A, talking about her losing a match, and B, bringing up a stat. Hope you're well, Corinne. Oh,
57.
Henry.
Exactly right.
She loved my stats.
Yeah, she did like your stats. That's why she probably got offered this evening for work and decided to stay home.
Yeah, Corinne had a fantastic year in 2017. World finalist, World Masters finalist. But it was Lorraine Winstanley who got the W in the World Masters. Got the better of Trisha Wright in the semi-finals before victory against Anastasia Bobislova and Rashna David in the rounds prior.
Lorraine back 135.
Lorraine Hyde first 2 and out in this opening leg. 135. 220 pull. The bullseye. She went for
97.
I have to say the first dart was perfectly placed for it to bounce off, but she just caught the wrong side and drifted further away than at the intended target, but 26. She has left 38.
Lorraine required 38.
Well, she's working out now whether she's going to split. Double 16.
6.
I couldn't get any closer to that if she tried. The only one place closer was actually in at the double 16. Stanley here trying to make inroads.
42. Lorraine required 32.
Not really put enough pressure on this 32. It's incoming from Hyde, and she duly
Lorraine Hyde
takes it out.
Second leg, it's Lorraine Winstanley to throw first.
So, Lorraine Hyde takes the opening rubber of this particular contest.
I just
wonder whether these two, because because the fact that they're the only players without a win so far, whether they've placed an extra
60.
significance on this match, or whether there's a possibility that panic stations could creep in at some point.
There's a amount of pressure that comes with it. They know this is probably the way that the evening's gone, because both are feeling and playing a little under par to where they would.
83.
Will feel that this is a great opportunity to go and win your first game, and then of course this pressure comes with that, and then you start to throw without that freedom that you need, and they can be tense affairs, these ones. But we are... See, these two have a lot more experience than most that we see at the bottom of the groups.
23.
Particularly on other weeks, because sometimes it's their first time being in front of the cameras and on the big stage, and yeah, you can understand that it would still get to them. But these guys are seasoned at this sort of thing, and that's why they're here as part of the women's week at the Super Series. And
81.
Well, 9 of the players are debutants. Only Trina, Bo and Fallon have played in the Super Series as a series. Dita Hedman's played here in the ADC
45.
Championship. Laura Turner knows the building inside out because she sat in your seat on Monday.
Yeah, indeed. We're actually talking about that, Chris Murphy and myself today, about is it an advantage having been here as a commentator? I said, not really when you start throwing up there. It takes you a couple of legs to stop thinking like a commentator and thinking about what you're saying about us when you miss a double or miscount or something doesn't quite go right. You start thinking about what will these guys be saying up there. It takes a couple of games to get that out of your head.
Lorraine Winstanley.
Winstanley takes out double 18. Let me go 1-1.
Gets Lorraine Hyde to throw first.
All I know is when you're playing, Scott, I just need to get an extra shot in my coffee in the morning.
Yeah, you sure do. And also, you got to hold your thumb up, shut one eye to check that I'm still moving.
100.
Should have been. My other nickname could have been the Sloth, I suppose.
Scotty Sloth.
Absolutely.
Scotty Sloth Mitchell.
Yeah, I think they're really cuddly, those sloth things.
60.
Dart there for Lorraine was her second dart at double this evening. She's actually hit both the darts she's had at the outer ring. In fact, it's actually her first dart
58.
at a double, because her first one was at the bullseye on the back of the 88. She's got no problem winning legs when she's got the opportunity, but the problem that she's had tonight is the fact that the scoring power has just deserted her.
The problem both ladies have had tonight is getting any momentum in a game. Every time they look like getting momentum, the door gets slammed in their face and they're right up against it again. That's the joy of our lovely game. When you're sat up here in the commentary box chatting about it, it's
60.
Horrible being on the other end of it when you're down at the hockey, but because you're the one that put yourself up there, you somehow handle it as a player. You know it's part of the game. It always hurts more for those that are watching, and I'm sure there'll be a few watching these two this evening. A few what-ifs, if this had gone there, if that had gone there, but you have to remain positive
60.
here. Otherwise you do get munched up.
$100.
Well, Lorraine Hyde leads herself first to finish in leg 3.
$78. Lorraine require 102.
So start up the top. 10 or a 6. Or a treble 10. That leaves double 6.
I've said it for years, Scott. It's the only way to take out 102.
Lorraine Hyde.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fourth leg, it's
Well,
Lorraine
you do it, Henry.
Winstanley to throw first.
You do it for the treble
Game
10
on.
first, don't you, in that situation?
Perfect play. Leaves yourself 92 if you missed. Treble 20, double 16. Thank you very much.
From the Alan Norris thought
58
of shooting out. He used to have some lovely strange ones like that back in the day. 5-1, start with the 51 first.
Well, either way, you can leave yourself on the finish even if you miss straight wide.
Yeah, but sometimes you'd go ball then once you hit the 51. A maverick he was my mate Alan Norris.
96.
So Alan Norris walked so Daniel Lee could run. Lorraine Hyde leads this game 2-1. 2/3 of the way towards her
100.
first points of the evening. Would mean that she would at least leave with something.
$81.
Not to sound like a cheap game show host, but nobody wants to go home with nothing.
$100.
No, that's not even your bus fare home either, is it?
Nope.
Famously played for in front of about 17 million viewers on a Saturday evening back in the day.
I still love the fact that people who lived in Barnsley got given a speedboat.
Yeah, but you just put wheels on it, don't you?
100. Lorraine require 100.
It's got an engine, just put wheels on it.
Be no good for you in the farm.
Well, you'd put wheels with nice tyres on, wouldn't you? So you didn't get stuck in the mud. It'd be a nice ornament, you know, out the front of your farm.
59.
Fill it up with dirt, put some nice flowers in it.
Well, she hit a 102 in the last leg. Can Lorraine Hyde finish off with back-to-back tub plus checkouts? It's tots of the match. It's tots of the win. Tots of her first
65.
win.
Lorraine require
She'll hope to come
108.
back, but I'll be wary of Winstanley on 108.
Yeah, slightly more conventional way for her to go there for 105. Stanley's got 72 left.
72. Lorraine
So the
require
40.
40.
For Hyde is pressured.
Game
But
shot and
she
the
doesn't
match.
succumb to that pressure.
Lorraine Hyde.
Lorraine Hyde picks up her first win of the evening. That'll be relief for her. Averages will come through. The both girls having a good chat about that one. And Lorraine Hyde is 79.50. And that lovely 102 shot out for her means she gets her first points on the table. We are heading into a short break, and when we return, we will be seeing Fallon Sherrock taking on Vicky Pruim.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. For the break, Lorraine Hyde got her first win of the night. Get the better Lorraine Winstanley by 3-1, including a 102 checkout in there. 33% on the doubles for the Scot. And it finishes up her night with a win. And the winner of this game between Fallon, Sherrock and Vicky Pruim will end the night perfect. 4 wins from 4. They'll be the premier player at the top of the Group B table.
First leg, it's Fallon.
Sherrock with the darts. It's Sherrock who's been a class apart this evening. Averages of 107, 103 and 93 so far this evening. As for Vicky Pruim, it's fair to say that she's been the best of the rest so far.
80.
Yeah, agreed, but she's going to have to, you feel, upper average to get anywhere near Fallon.
140.
And that's a good start. But you've got to keep that going against this young lady.
41.
Vicky's been kind of going at the pace of her opponents this evening. Average 83.42 against Viinikainen.
70.
76 against Lorraine Winstanley. Lorraine struggled in that particular match. And then against Lorraine Hyde, 3-1 with 75. And again, Lorraine had her troubles in that match. So she's just been going with the pace of her opponents.
58.
But to go at the pace of Sherrock, she's going to have to find something maybe in excess of what she found in her first game of the evening session.
Yeah, indeed.
96.
She can break the Fallon's throw here. It would give her a massive amount of confidence, but now Fallon's had that bounce out and follows in with 2 trebles for 120, and what was looking a good lead for Pruim has now
21
resulted in a 21 score of her own, and Fallon right back in the leg.
Well, it's handed that advantage back over to Fallon straight away.
90.
And Fallon says, thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, I'll just add a little treble to that just to make sure I stay in front.
32.
That's 2 poor ones on the bounce there for Vicky. 21 and then 32. You don't get away with that against Fallon very often.
52. Vicky record 142.
142 for Pruim isn't going to go, and so a leg where she had a bit of an ascendancy in Vicky could well
45.
go by the by. Sherrock should have a couple of pokes at tops here.
Yeah, Vicky will be disappointed. She had a strong hold on the leg and let it slip.
Game shot on the first.
No such mistake from Sherrock. Her doubling is her strong point. And has been this evening. That's what keeps your averages high.
$100.
From 14 attempts this evening at the doubles, Fallon Sherrock is at 10 doubles.
100.
Yeah, that's astounding. That is just absolutely top shooting. And here we've got the side angle of the Vicky Pruim throw, and absolutely super. We get a 180. Are we going to get another one here? Oh, go on then.
Just leave it at that angle. Just leave it at that angle.
Yeah, keep filming from the side. Oh.
Okay, change it back. Change it back.
Change it back. You've overdone it.
60.
Okay, Fallon. Back to back. How about that?
180. Vicky record 161.
Normal service resumed for Fallon Sherrock. For potential 11 darter to make it 2-0. 3 180s in this leg. This has been class. This isn't it for an 11 dart leg. And Fallon Sherrock, all of a sudden, is a leg away from the perfect night. She leads 2-0.
Yeah, nice fist pump there from Vicky. Appreciating that 12 dart leg. Was pretty special. 2 legs and 3 180s in this match. That's been the standard.
$60.
Well, Fallon Sherrock tonight really has proved her class and then some. This had the real makings of a real difficult assignment against Vicky Pruim, but so far she's made it look fairly routine.
60.
Yeah, very much so. Without being at a brilliant best, it's just been spells in this game at the right time. And here we go, another spell.
Whoa!
Another right time. Is there ever a bad time to hit a 180?
Well, that's her third 180 of the match. She's brought her average up from 90 to 95. Remember, she started with 21 dart leg, had a 12 in the second, and she can get it done in 15. It's be a superb performance from the Queen of the Palace to seal a 3-0 success. As a matter of fact, she would win 12 legs tonight with the concession of just the solitary
60.
one. That's the dominance that she has had this evening, and she's on the cusp of completing it here, but she's missed the big number, which means she's got 65 left, and so tops for the match for Fallon Sherrock to round it off in style.
34.
That dipped below the bed before bouncing out.
Absolutely, you can see the big silver spot on the double top bottom side of the wire where that hit absolutely plumb and flush.
Fallon require 40.
So tops. Super Sherrock goes ballistic. She makes the rest of the group nervous. She beats Vicky Pruim by 3 legs to 0, completing the card with a concession of just a solitary leg. The Queen of the Palace played like the Queen of the Church. 3-0 to the good, 3-0 the victor against Vicky Pruim to complete the card. We're going to hear from Fallon in a couple of moments' time. And then after that, we're going to complete the night's action by watching Lorraine Winstanley take on Kirsi Viinikainen.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we're joined alongside Fallon Sherrock, who's played 13 legs tonight, won 12 of them. That felt really business-like from first start to last.
To be fair, I'm quite happy how I played tonight. You know, I think it's all the practice from playing the last 3 days, to be fair.
Did it just all click straight away this evening?
Yeah, I think from the first game it's just kind of all just clicked, or you've either put a magnet behind the treble 20 tonight. Either way, I'm happy.
Because everything about this evening, every single component just worked from the scoring phase, 9 maximums all told this evening, and the finishing, it felt like if you were missing, it was just the odd dart here and there.
Yeah, no, do you know what? I'm just super happy with how I've played tonight. You know, the scoring's been consistent. I've had a few 180s, which I'm happy about, and my finish has been a lot better than normal. So, you know, all the practice and stuff that I've been kind of putting in is kind of paying out with situations like this.
Talking about top finishes, we're just having a look at your ton plus checkouts there against Lorraine Hyde. This one pleasing as well, the 160. Every single dart just felt perfect in that finish.
It felt it as well coming out my hand. Yeah, to be fair, on the 160, after I hit the first 2 trebles, you know, that double top, you just got to throw for it. And that's what I was thinking, just throw for it. You know, it'd be great if you could, you know, just shoot it out.
No player will ever say they've had the perfect night, but is this evening as close to?
The closer I'm going to get, yeah. Because I don't think, you know, tomorrow night, I think these women that are playing now, I think they've now got the experience up on the stage. So I don't think I'm going to be winning much games 3-0 tomorrow, because I think there's going to be some really interesting legs coming. And I think a lot of these women tonight are just going to up their game tomorrow.
You've mentioned so many times when you've played here in the past about the fact that if you don't get through the Group A, that you can use the 3 days prior as that building block for the rest of the week to really play yourself into form. Does that really feel like the case now?
Yeah, it feels like the case every time. Like, obviously, I try and win Group A. Obviously, everyone tries. But I genuinely think going from Monday to Wednesday is a good practice. And then when you go into, like, Thursday and Friday, because you've had all the practice of the first 3 days and, you know, you've gone through your wins, your defeats, and then you haven't made it through, it kind of makes you more determined to do better. So coming into the Thursday and Fridays, I'm always more determined. I want to, you know, play better, and it's definitely shown tonight.
And then going into tomorrow, is it just a case of business, like get the job done as quickly as possible, avoid the dramas?
Hopefully. That would be the ideal kind of mindset going into tomorrow. But like I said, like, these women now have the stage practice and stuff, so 100% they're going to play better tomorrow. So I'm going to probably have some nitty-gritty games tomorrow.
I just wonder how great an opportunity is this for the female game? The fact that players that don't often get opportunities like this get the chance to play on the stage and represent themselves and give themselves that extra bit of exposure.
Oh, it's a great opportunity. Do you know what? Like, you've seen players this week who you probably would never have seen before, and they've put on a good show of themselves. Yes, there's been some players that haven't played to their potential, like how they have on the women's series, but like, give them time. You know, we still got a couple of days left. Like, you will see them like shine through it all. But yeah, no, all these opportunities that we keep, you know, being given, it's only going to benefit us in the long run, and you're going to see the darts just increase.
And in the short term, a very good night for yourself. Many congratulations, Fallon. We'll see you tomorrow evening. One more game for us to go on this Thursday night at the Live Lounge. Sees Kirsi Viinikainen up against Lorraine Winstanley. I'm going to make the run over to the commentary box to join Scott Mitchell.
Yeah, thanks, Henry. I was just number crunching there while you were chatting to Fallon, and she actually ran a 98.26 average this evening. Very impressive indeed. But we head over to our last game of the evening, and we have Lorraine Winstanley taking on Kirsi Viinikainen. And Kirsi has played fairly well this evening, but still only has a couple of points on the board to show for it. And Lorraine still chasing that first win up there on the Super Series stage. She will be hoping it could be here and put herself back in the mix for that third place, because we could end up after this game with three ladies on 2 points apiece chasing that third spot.
Very much so. This could be a game that really changes the ascendancy and the mood of the group going into day 2, because there could be a situation where Fallon and Vicky could be far and away of the rest of the pack with 3 players tied on 2 points, or it could mean it's a very long and tall order for Lorraine's Hyde and Winstanley if Viinikainen can win this particular contest. Very interesting interview there with Fallon Sherrock just a couple of moments ago. Even in that interview, I just got the sense of this is business, but you could tell that she was really pleased with the way that she played, and so she should.
Yeah, like I said, you probably didn't hear it. Yeah, I just did a bit of number crunching while you were interviewing. It was a 98.26 average for the evening. I don't think there'd be anybody that'd be upset with that.
Absolutely not. And it's interesting, I was speaking to her because she has said in the past that sometimes she could really build herself up throughout the course of the week. Of course, she wants to win the Group A, but if not, it's not a disaster. She can find ways of improving her game incrementally and get herself peak and ready for Saturday night. And she carries on playing at that level, then everybody should be put on watch.
What I like about that interview, she was just really saying that, you know, although she didn't win Group A, she was taking something positive from it, saying, you know, okay, I didn't kind of win it, but yeah, great practice for the rest of the week, and explaining why she feels that it's the way to go. And maybe that bit of those extra couple of days then does give you a little foot up here when you get to Group B. She seems to feel that that's the way, and in any dart player's mind, as long as you're thinking it, that's generally a good thing for you, for your good games to come out.
Well, we did ask for your suggestions on the YouTube chat room for potential ideas for the specials week. Now, here's an interesting one, which I really, really like. How about a Ryder Cup Star Week featuring players from ADC UK up against players from ADC Europe?
40.
Okay.
Require 161.
Very interesting.
Although I do think that Thomas Smith has had 1 or 2 shandies too many this evening.
45.
Upside down board week. I'm not sure the spotter would be too infused.
Yeah, adds further complications away from the board for said Super Series staff. There's no two ways about that.
41.
Everybody be wanting to leave double free.
You require 160.
We know you would be leaving double 3 because you'd be more confident with it. But the simple question is for that, I don't care where double 3 is on the board. It's not a good double to leave, whether it's at the top or the bottom is my line of thought on that one. Double bottom would be the best double to leave, surely, in that instance, with the 20 being at the bottom.
100.
Lorraine Winstanley is hoping not to be rock bottom at the end of tonight's proceedings. Viinikainen for the first leg, get a breaker throw, misses the big number. She's had a couple of them this evening. Double 16. Look at the first leg now. If Lorraine Winstanley gets a dart at the bullseye, expecting to take it. She's only had a couple of darts at double tonight, and she's hit both of them. One of them was at the bullseye. But she needs to find the treble 17 to do that, which isn't going to happen this time. And so Viinikainen is going to return for 32 to take out the opening salvo with a break.
32. Game shot on the first.
And it goes. Viinikainen takes the first spoils in this particular contest.
Second leg, it's
well, there's been a couple of other ideas for a specials week here at the Super Series. World Cup Pairs Week, so 12 different nations pitted with 12 pairings. This would be one that would pique your interest, Scott.
40.
Former World Champions Week. 12 ex-world champions.
Is there a sort of time limit on when they were an ex?
No. Just world champions.
Obviously, 41. Yeah, that would obviously very much interest me.
You could include John Henderson as a world seniors champion.
Hang on, whoa. Now we're getting silly. Exactly.
180.
You'd have to include Bo Greaves as a two-time world champion. Can't argue against those 2 world titles.
No, you can't. Absolutely.
140.
I should be putting in for commentary that week.
$81.
Could have yourself. You could have... So Bo Greaves, yourself. Trina Gulliver, of course, 10-time world champion. Lisa Ashton, 4-time world champion.
121.
Martin Adams, 3-time world champion.
Scott Waits.
Scott, yes, of course. Richie Burnett.
Well, I think we could probably find 12, couldn't we?
55.
Mark Webster.
And to make it really interesting, we could see who could still fit in their shirts that they won them in.
No, no one needs to see that.
59.
No, absolutely not. I need to be able to move my arms.
Christian Kist, still very much active.
Yeah, very active.
Bakura Suzuki.
Indeed.
130. Lorraine required 140.
Well, Lorraine has hit every single dart she's had at a double this evening. She needs a couple of triple 20s to do so on this occasion.
60. Kirsi required 15.
Another idea would maybe people that have hit 9 darters here at Super Series week.
Nah, one-leg wonders.
Yeah, no need for that at all, Henry. And you're very brave when you're sat up here next to me. If you weren't sat next to me, would you have said that?
30.
They'd come looking for you.
Lorraine, you require 80.
All said in jest.
Head back down now.
Tops for Winstanley. That's the
41.
first darted double she's missed tonight.
Kirsi, you require 2.
And it could open up the door for Viinikainen to take a 2-0 lead. If she can find the madhouse for checkmate.
No
the first
score.
one was very difficult being
Lorraine,
so
you require
close.
39.
And it was nearly too close to be a good marker to use. So Lorraine now to tidy this 39 up, 7 for 32.
Game shot on the
And she
second
does that
leg. Lorraine Winstanley.
with ease.
Third leg, it's Lorraine to throw.
I'll put it this way, we could have, these are players that we could have through the WDF/BDO system, because the only player that would be eligible, well, there's only 2 players that would be eligible and neither would play, and that's Dennis Priestley and Phil Taylor in the PDC. In terms of BDO/WDF World Championships, obviously
99.
Andy Bartons is a tour card holder. Bo Greaves, of course, has played here, so she could very much be in the mix. Neil Duff won it in 2022. In terms of other players, Christian Kist could possibly be there. Yourself.
41.
Wayne Warren. Richie Burnett. As you say, Scott Waits, Martin Adams. Dozer.
Yeah, absolutely.
All next year, Steve Beaton.
66.
Oh, yeah.
John Part, of course, 3-time world champion.
Star-studded names indeed. And you got to go and mention me.
Exactly.
26.
As a matter of fact, because of your World Championship win, you now get to play in the World Masters for life.
Oh, do I?
Yeah. You've qualified for this year's World Masters. Did you not know, Scott?
Nope.
Yes.
60.
Well, who thought I'd get good news at this unearthly hour?
Yes, you have qualified for every single World Masters for as long as you're alive.
Well, I think that's a marvellous thing.
See, there you go. There's an exclusive for you. Yourself,
98.
Glenn Durham, you've qualified, both qualified for the World Masters. Matthew Eggers qualified for the World Masters. Mark Webster's qualified for the World Masters.
I'm
60.
sure he's over the moon about that.
Lorraine Winstanley's qualified for every World Masters for the rest of her life. Lorraine Winstanley's on the cusp of making it 2-1.
$42. $85.
Just to confirm, you are actually in there. You know, you've not even just qualified for it because of your world title. You've qualified for it for winning the WDF World Cup.
98.
wow.
You genuinely had no idea, did you?
No, not really. No, that's really cool. Obviously, I medalled last year at the WDF World Cup in the team event, so that's looks to be where we qualified as well. Lovely, Scott Waits, he's qualified as well.
Lorraine required
And congratulations to Rod Harrington, who's also qualified. I don't think he'll be taking the spot.
He's looking forward to it, though, he tells me.
$18.
Pete Everson there. Maybe
Kirsi
he'll be there.
required 91.
Tots of Viinikainen to make it 2-1 and to get the break.
Game shot.
And there is the break. And it means
Kirsi
that Viinikainen is on the cusp of victory, which would put her on to 4 points. And it means we'd have a uniform table. Sherrock on 8, Pruim on 6, Viinikainen on 4, Hyde on 2, and Winstanley without a win to her name.
$60.
Wonder. Let's find out some other names that are going to be in there. Oh, Les Wallace has qualified. Robert Thornton's qualified.
140.
Yeah, Richie Burnett's qualified.
100.
Hell of a list and line up there.
Matthew Edgar for winning the 2023 Iceland
60.
Masters. Keith Dennis qualified as well. I wonder whether Glenn Doe will get the darts back. Well, Dennis Priestley's actually qualified as well. Everybody's qualified.
Everybody's qualified except our spotter this evening.
Yeah, but what's he ever done?
21.
I remember him doing a really good leg somewhere not long ago.
In case you're wondering what we're talking about, we have esteemed company backstage. Jared Cole does some work with us in the spotting department, and he's wondering where his name is on the long list of qualifiers for the World
60.
Masters. Well, it's not there, pal. You didn't qualify.
Still time.
Maxi for Winstanley.
140.
Halves the score, puts the pressure on Viinikainen here. Does a fantastic job, by the way, Jared.
Yeah, you're trying to be his buddy now because we've got to leave and we're going into the darkness
95.
outside shortly. But
Lorraine require 140.
140 here for Winstanley. Perfectly situated for the dart underneath. 2 perfectly situated for the ton to leave tops.
60. Kirsi require 126.
On this occasion. So Viinikainen 1-2-6. Single 19 will lead the ball. It's bullseye for the match. And she hits it. What a shot indeed. Lorraine Winstanley stands behind, just nodding her head in appreciation. This is what Kirsi can do. It's a 3-1 win for her. She ends her evening with a win and another couple of points on the table for her. 73 average, 3 from 11, and that lovely 1-2-6 to finish the evening. So we head off to a short break and we will join you on the other side from the studio.
Well, what an intriguing evening we have seen here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Myself and Scott Mitchell have watched every single dart in the commentary box, and this is what we have seen tonight. It's a group that's been dominated by Fallon and Sherrock, winning all four matches this evening. The concession just one leg in there as well. Vicky Pruim was the other Premier player as far as Group B was concerned. She won her first read for them, losing out to Fallon in the last. Kirsi Viinikainen, the other player to have gone 50% through the group as well. Right, as I say, Scott Mitchell's been watching all of the action in the commentary box to see there's only one place to start, and that's Fallon Sherrock. 4 wins from 4, and she made it look fairly simple, if the truth be told.
She really did. She started with a couple of hundred averages and really put the wind up the rest of the field in Group B, and she said, I'm here to take this Group B, and that's exactly what she did. So by the time the evening went on, she wasn't needing to do those big averages, but to still end the evening on a 98 average is pretty special from 4 matches, and 9 180s as well. The dominance was clear to see.
Just put into perspective how clinical and how classy an overall evening performance that was from Fallon.
It was super classy, but we know how hard she is on herself. She's her own biggest critic, and we saw her a couple of times not happy with missing doubles and things, and she still ended up with 4 wins out of 4. She still ended up running that Masters average, and she's sort of home and hosed really for qualifying tomorrow.
It looks like her closest challenger is going to be Vicky Pruim, the Swede, and she was just so good at doing the right things at the right times tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Vicky's one of those that's not worried about averages too much, and she's just worried about winning, and that's what she did tonight. She put points on the board and gave herself a chance to make Saturday night.
She made that 10-1 at the beginning of the evening look very slim indeed, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. It's, I like the way she throws. I like her attitude towards the way she throws, and I'm looking forward to seeing her again tomorrow night.
As far as Kirsi Viinikainen is concerned this evening, 2 wins from her 4 matches. How do you think she'll assess on things overall?
I think she hasn't done a lot wrong. I think she's been genuinely outplayed when she's lost those couple of games, and the couple of games that she's won are ones that she's deserved to win. And No better than that 1-2-6 on the bullseye there to finish our evening off. It finished a great evening of darts for us, and on the bullseye, what a way to finish it. That's the way that the group should have finished this evening.
Well, let's have a look then at the table. Following the end of the first day's play in Group B, as you can see, Fallon Sherrock leading it 8 points to her name, winning every single match. Vicky Pruim, the closest contender. It's very nice and uniformed as far as that table is concerned tomorrow, but you get the sense that the two Lorraines, they're going to have to find something tomorrow if they're going to break into that top three.
Yeah, it's not just a case of getting those points on the board for Lorraine Hyde, particularly tomorrow. It's that legs difference that's going to... We say it's as big as a point every time we come here, and it really is. She'd have to go through the card, you think, and turn some of those over, and she needs a definite 3 wins, that's for sure.
Well, we said that it's a week that would be dominated by Bo Greaves and Fallon Sherrock, and it's just continuing to be proved that case, isn't it?
Absolutely, and they're just hotting it up for the crescendo on Saturday night, where everybody wants to see them play each other again. So, yeah, we are heading that way, aren't we?
Well, Scott, thank you so much for your company. I'll see you tomorrow night, but we'll see you tomorrow afternoon from 1 p.m. on the Super Series YouTube channel. See how Group C is going to culminate. Rhiannon O'Sullivan is in charge of proceedings there. But as far as tonight is concerned, Fallon Sherrock has left the rest of the field needing snookers. She was perfect.